I'm your host, Tessa Yanni. I knew I could sit here today and blab on about my experiences, but I probably bore myself to death in the process. So instead, I ventured out and I asked people if they've had any kind of out-of-body experience, near-death experience. And I returned with a plethora of stories about people transcending space and time and knowing that they are connecting with a higher power, God, the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. The universal underlying tone here is there are moments in our lives that stand out. There were 3 underlying categories. First, we're going to talk about the category of sleep. Bear with me. So when you're asleep, your guard is down. During sleep, you can really start to have these weird experiences. You can experience sleep paralysis, which is when you're asleep but you are like looking at the ceiling. You know your physical eyes are closed, but you can see the room around you and you can't move. You can also experience dreams that are like extremely real, almost like you're actually there. They don't seem like dreams, or almost like you've traveled somewhere real that really exists, but you're not in your physical body. You can also have connections to higher consciousness in dreams. You can talk to people who have passed on or connect to spiritual beings. To begin, a few people that I spoke with had this experience of sleep paralysis where they would describe going to sleep and then they would see their room, but they knew that they were physically asleep, or their physical eyes were closed. And it was very scary to them because they felt like they couldn't move. So when your body goes into REM sleep, normally you experience what's called muscle atonia. This is your brain shutting down your muscles so that you're not able to act out your dreams. This is why children will sleepwalk. Their brain hasn't hit that stage developmentally where it shuts all of the muscles down. They could actually be walking around the house in their sleep. But by the time you're an adult, you don't really experience this as much. I mean, it makes sense from a scientific standpoint that the brain shuts the body down, but yet, how are you able to see the room around you if you know that your eyes are closed, if you're actually asleep? I've actually experienced this multiple times, and you know that your physical eyes are closed because when you wake up, you open your eyes. Therefore, you know that your eyes were closed, but yet you could still see the room before. I was asleep one night, and then I thought I was dreaming at first. I was standing in my bedroom, and I turned around, and I noticed that my body was still in bed next to my husband, and there was a silver cord from the middle of my body going back to my physical body. It was like I had a different body, like my what they call like an astral body or a soul body. And I'm standing there in my room, I'm looking down at my body. I realized that I'm having an out-of-body experience. Now this was so exciting to me. Everything was like totally light, like there was no pain. It was just very, very light, felt very light. And there was this light pouring in the room. I thought that there was like sun pouring into the room, but at the same time it wasn't sun. I realized it wasn't sun. It was every object had an intrinsic quality of light to it. This was really, really epic. So I am so excited. I turn around, I float out of the room, I float down the hallway. You can learn more about the experience in my book, but I just wanted to touch briefly on it. I did have that experience. I did see some things around the house that were there in real life. So I'm not a guru on this stuff. I don't claim to be an expert. By all means, sure, if you want to say that I was dreaming, go ahead and just say that I was dreaming. It didn't feel like a dream. It felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. And I'm not the only person. It's not like I stand alone in this experience. There are tons of people in the world that describe this same thing. Some people that I spoke with yesterday and the day before as I was gathering research for this video. So do what you want to with that. Dreaming alone has some significance throughout history, in culture, in our minds and our subconscious that holds intrinsic value to us. Next category. When you move your brain waves into the same brainwave states that mimic sleep, you can have some of these really spiritual experiences. You can access this knowledge bank or spirit realm or whatever it is that you want to call it. I had one friend say, yes, I've astral traveled. Not on purpose, but that's happened. I had another friend tell me about an experience where he was meditating from a outer looking in perspective. All of the souls on earth going through all of these different experiences, and they were all categorized into doors. And so one door would be something like grieving a loved one, and there were people lined up going through this door. So the next final and most important category is life experiences. So this story is extremely close to my heart. One of my good friends, he went into the hospital for a serious surgery, and during the surgery something went wrong, and so they had to induce a coma, and he was in a coma for 4 months of his life. So some backstory on this: his mom died when he was 12, and his grandma had also passed, and when he was in this coma, his mother and his grandma were there with him. His grandma was holding his hand, and he expressed overwhelming joy to see his mother again and feel their presence and know that they were there, and they were telling him that everything was going to be okay. He always believed in something greater before, but after this experience, he said he's no longer afraid of death, and he knows that there are people on the other side waiting for him. I wanted to finish with my most favorite anecdote that I received over the last couple of days. It's a gem. I was totally floored when I heard this experience, and I'm sure that she'll feel the same way. When I asked her if she had had an out-of-body experience, she said, well, not really an out-of-body experience, but I can tell you that I've completely transcended my existence as an individual while giving birth. She said it wasn't like I could see myself from above or anything like that, but I truly felt one with the universe. She said everything slows down in the room and you can feel the air around you. Everything becomes more vibrant and detailed. Time freezes and you experience everything in slow motion, but your mind is running in real time. It was so fascinating to me that she describes undergoing childbirth, and my mom describes the same type of, like, you're really connecting to God. When I was having that out-of-body experience, everything has this insanely intense, vivid quality. You feel like you're connected to all of it, and the underlying truth and commonality that I found in talking to people was that the moments that really make us feel like we're real are the moments when we're feeling extremely connected to what's going on, extremely present in the moment. So other than our day-to-day life, we have this extra layer of experience that we're carrying around with us. Most people don't even talk about these experiences. Most people think that someone's gonna think they're weird. But the truth is, almost every single person that I spoke with had a response to my question. Now, I think that I probably would have phrased it, going back and doing this again, I would have definitely phrased my question differently, because I thought I was gonna do this whole episode on out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, and I realized that's not really like the important question here. The important question is, have you ever had an experience that really made you feel alive? That is the question that I should have been asking these people. Because when I asked, oh, have you had an out-of-body experience? Have you had a near-death experience? Like, if they would say no, they would come back with, no, but listen to this, you know? And then I even only asked like 2 or 3 people this question until I realized, like, okay, and I started rephrasing it. But because I've had out-of-body experiences. I know at least 2 or 3 people that have had near-death experiences, actually more than that. And you probably know the same. And you might have even experienced some of these things yourself. You probably have. But the important thing is that this higher layer exists in all of us. Think back to those moments that made you feel like you were part of something bigger. What about those moments that you hold as the most important, earth-shattering, truly awe-inspiring moments, which you'll never forget in your whole life?